Alright, I got a 96 Jeep Grand Cherokee Lerado driver's door. This is like the 4th Jeep I've done. Driver's door hinges go bad on them, wiring harnesses, and the door catch. Unfortunately, it tears the shit out of the metal here when the hinges go bad, or the latch bolts on with these screws. So what I'm going to do is take this apart, weld all this up, get it back into place, and replace the door hinges. Get everything back to where it needs to go, and check the wiring harness, because they're notorious for the wiring harness breaking the wires. You know, back up in here. Let's check all that. You're gonna have to pull all these 2 bolts here, 2 bolts there. They're 10mm size for a socket. So let's get to it. Alright, see if I can show just how bad these hinges are. I don't know if you can see that, but so anyway, got to take the door off, and to do that, got to take this wiring harness off. Take these little 2 tabs there, squeeze them together. And of course, I'm probably not going to be able to do this with one hand. Now, it looks like somebody's been in here before and fixed these broken wires. But we'll get this all apart and start working on the hinges. Alright, I got that little deal off. It come off pretty easy. I just couldn't do it with one hand. These little tabs here, just squeeze those together and pull it out. Then to disconnect the harness, this little red clip here is a lock to lock the harness together so it doesn't come unplugged. So you want to flip that up, and then might take a couple screwdrivers maybe to pull that apart. And then again, I can't do it with one hand, so I'll get back to you in a sec. Okay, so what I did where I'm at right now is the boot where it goes up into the door jamb here. Take that boot and pull it off, and then stuff it up inside, and that'll let you get some slack and pull these wires out of the door and give you a lot more room to disconnect this. And you just pop that boot off and kind of stuff it up inside, give you a lot more room to access this. You just pull that out and pull it back. Alright, okay, finally got that unplugged. I told you there's this little red lock here, but up inside here there's a little tab that you have to pull apart, or not pull apart, but spread apart so you can pull it out. And unfortunately, this old plastic's hard, and it broke off, but no big deal. When you put it back in and lock it, it should be good. Another thing I didn't mention at the beginning is you always want to make sure your battery's disconnected before you start doing this, and I already did that. I just forgot to mention it in the beginning. Alright, got the door off. It's going to be a 2-person job unless you got like a cherry picker or a crane or something. I used a jack with a bucket underneath the door to hold the weight while I took the bolts off, but anyway, here's the hinges. Yeah, pretty sloppy. Anyway, let's I'm gonna drive out these hinge pins, and if you look at yours real close, this one's been mushroomed over. They put the put the pin in and mushroomed one end over on both ends. So what you need to do is get in there with a die grinder with a cutoff wheel, something small. You can get in there and grind the head off. On this one, well, on both of them actually, the distance from here to here will not allow you to drive that pin out this way unless you keep cutting the pin off as you drive it out, because it won't come all the way out. So keep that in mind, and then when you put your new ones in, you'll put them in this direction because you won't be able to that way. And that's the same on both sides. You don't have enough clearance to drive the pin straight out before you hit the door. So I bought some new hinges on the internet. I'm not promoting these guys by no means, but this is just what I got. There's the part number. I think I paid like under $5 a set, probably even less than that. I can't remember, it's been a little while. But there's the new one with the new bushings. So I'll get the die grinder out and start grinding these heads off so I can drive out these old pins. Alright. Might want to cover up your glass when you're doing this, because them sparks sometimes will burn right in your glass. Okay, there's not much to see here after that, so I'll get this done and tune back in. Okay, got them all ground down. See if I can get a close-up to that. I'm going to grind the head off and you'll be able to see the line where the pin is, the circle there, and you want to be careful not to hit everywhere else like I did. But grind that off smooth, get that head completely off. Same on this side, get it all smooth. Then I'll, what I used to grind that off was a angle grinder with the cutoff wheel. And if you can get one with a, hopefully you got a used one that's small diameter so you can get into that tight corner. If not, you can use a rotary carbide burr on your die grinder. I didn't have to use that on this one, but the last one I did. I couldn't quite get in there because my disc was too big. But then next you're gonna need a hammer and a punch, square end punch. And I'll see if I can get that on video for you. Oh, one more thing, you want to mark your hinges, which side is up. One way, if you can remember, is your numbers are stamped on the outside here, up. It's got the numbers stamped, put those up. Because it would really suck to put these on backwards. Have to take them off again. So, if you can remember that, if not, you know, mark it, which side is up with the something, a paint marker or something. Alright. Another thing I did is put the door on a folding ladder with some blankets or towels, rug, something underneath it. That kind of gets it up off the ground for you. Even driving this out with a punch because the door makes it kind of awkward to hit. In case anybody out there's worried about safety, I do have safety glasses on, and I always have had them on. Alright, I'm going to continue to drive those out. You don't need to sit and watch me do that. You get the idea. Okay, got the pins drove out. Now I got the brackets that have the brass bushings in there. So this is how I take those out. Just get a flat chisel, and if you can see, I don't know if you can see on there, the bushings are split. So I take the one edge where it's split, get a chisel in there, and just start driving it out. Usually comes out pretty easy. Alright, that one's out. Same on the other side. Just like that. Alright, I'll do the other one and then show you how to put new bushings in. Well, I guess we're still recording. Alright, well, this is how I do it. You want to put your flange to the outside. Get it kind of roughly started. Put it up in the vise, right in the center of the vise. And start to close the vise up on it. Try to keep these two equal, so you're putting equal pressure on. Start clamping it. A little pressure on it, and as you're doing that, I like to just barely tap that with a hammer. That lets it go in real easy. Okay, done. Do the other side. You want to clean these out. I guess you already seen that, but they're a press fit, so have to be super clean. A little pressure on there. And if it doesn't start to go, you better stop and figure out why. Alright, there's one. Just kind of make sure it's clean. It should be fairly clean from the other bushings being in there. And when you're hitting it, don't hit your bushing. Just kind of tap on the metal hinge part. Alright, done deal. Now I'll clean all this up, and in case I forget to mention when I'm doing it, you want to put a little bit of, I put bearing grease inside this surface and inside, and as well on the hinge pins as I assemble it. And when you put it through, this will wipe the grease off, so before I get to the other end I'll put some more grease on before I finish inserting it. That way it's got a good pre-lube in there. Alright, getting ready to put the hinges back in. So what I want to do is go clean where the surface of the bushing goes, right inside here on both of those. I'm going to run a pipe cleaner through the inside. And then assemble them. Get that all nice and clean for the new bushings. Okay, the battery's going to go dead on my recorder, so I'm going to back out here a little bit. Alright, got the camcorder, got the battery charger plugged back in. So I'll try to put this together. Hopefully I'm not blocking all this stuff while I'm doing it. So I've got some grease I'm gonna put in there, just a light coat for the assembly. I'm gonna put it on a Q-tip. Put a little bit right in here. That's where the bushing's gonna ride. It don't take much because most of it's gonna slide off anyway when you assemble it. I've already greased these, so remember, numbers go up, and I just tap them in with the hammer. watching to line the holes up. About like that. Get just a little bit of grease on here to start with. Grease. Like I said, don't take much because it's gonna slide off anyway, most of it. Okay, we're in that bushing. Starting to go through, need to line it. Okay, we're in, and we've got the splines on here. You gotta force that in there, and that keeps the pin from turning. Okay, done. So on the end, they got a taper here. What I'm gonna do, I gotta fix the door on the other side, the latch. I'm going to do some welding, and what I'm going to do, instead of mushrooming this over right there, I'm just going to put a little tack weld on here to keep this pin from coming out. And then next time, if I ever have to do this, all I have to do is grind that little tack weld off instead of grinding this whole head off. Alright, I'm going to do the other side, and I'll get you back on when I have something else to show you. Alright, got it all back together. Broke a bolt putting it in, so I took a look at the bolt. It was already partially broke. I don't know if you can see right across there, that discolored piece there. It was already partially broke for quite a while. So I'll have to get a drill and easy out that and get a new bolt put in it. Got those hinge pins. I put a little tack weld on top. I did on the bottom as well. So that's all good. Got wound up having to weld those washers on that were already on there that somebody else put on, because the metal that was behind there, it was completely gone. I didn't have anything to repair it with, so countersunk some flat washers, or the washers that were there. I countersunk them because these screws have a countersink to them, and then I just welded them all up. Had to cut the top of that washer off to give clearance for the striker, but I think we're in good shape. That's all I got for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share. Thanks. Bye.